Oh, well that was easy. Oh, okay, he has a second form. Oh, come on, now you're just cheating. So I started Trails in the Sky the Third almost immediately after the SC video went up. I'm about 6 or 7 hours in. I'll probably be deeper in the game by the time this video goes live. The game takes place about 6 months or so after SC, so that's why it's called the Third as opposed to Third Chapter, because it's a separate story that just so happens to involve all the Sky characters. Unlike the other two, Kevin's actually the main character this time around, because in the first two games you heard little things here and there about the Septian Church, but this is the first time I've actually become the main focus since he's part of it. Now at the end of second chapter, it was revealed that Kevin's job is to run around collecting the artifacts and punishing anyone who he catches abusing their power. The game opens with him completing one such mission, and then he heads back to Grand Soul, where Zeiss Central Factory has just dug up a seemingly inactive, cube-shaped artifact. ZCF wants it for research, but Kevin was sent to make sure it truly was inactive. For this assignment, he's paired up with his childhood friend, Reyes, who's a squire for the church. And long story short, they're out minding their own business and the cube activates and sends them to another dimension, Phantasma. So Kevin and Reyes are now stuck there, and it seems everyone who you knew from the last game was also trapped inside of these stones. Now each time you find a stone, which will usually just be a reward for killing a boss, you free the person inside and they can join your party. Now Third kinda seems to be a love it or hate it entry in the series, and that's probably just due to the fact that it's way more gameplay focused than the first two. FC and SC seem to prioritize the narrative, dialogue, and side quests, with the gameplay serving as more of a vehicle for the fight scenes. In this one, the battle system is still mostly the same, but you'll definitely be doing more of it. There are a few new bonuses you can acquire if they happen to fall on your party's turn, and some enemies in the game are now weak to time, space, and mirage spells. You usually don't get a lot of story outside of the beginning and end of the chapters, unless you're going through a door, which I'll get into now. So the doors are, well, they're literally doors. You'll come across them as you're exploring, and they're broken up into 3 categories. So moon doors contain a very lengthy side story about whichever character it corresponds to, star doors contain a short story about certain characters, and sun doors are basically just star doors with a minigame included. Most of these doors, outside of the 1 or 2 mandatory ones you have to do, make up the quote-unquote side quests in the game, and so far they've been pretty fun to watch. It's pretty much the game's way of catching you up on what the characters have been up to during the 6-month gap. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for the game at the moment. Be on the lookout for the in-depth review. I'll try and get that out as soon as I can, but for now that marks the end of the video, so feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear me rattle on about JRPGs or other Japanese games I happen to come across, and I will see you all again very soon.